That's a very unflattering angle. Forgive me while I'm so good at this, aren't I? No one wants to look up my nose. Hello, how are we all doing? I am exhausted, but in the best way possible. I'm sorry we're late tonight. I decided I was going to have some dinner. And I've been very, very bad at looking after myself of late. So I thought, you know what, go and have some food. You'll feel better after some food. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining. I know that there aren't that many things going on at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. So thank you very much for joining. What I'm doing at the moment is I have done a little fabric pull. And I've decided what it is I'm going to be making. It's a new design that I've come up with using fat quarters. And it's a really simple little pattern. It'll go up on the website tomorrow. The pattern will be £3.50. Hello, Donna. Pattern will be £3.50. If you'd like to support, that would be very kind. If you can't, that's okay. Yeah, do what you can do. At the moment, all I have done is I told my lovely Sylvia, my lovely Sylvia, who was back at work today, very happy to have her back, to press open some fat quarters. I was very lucky. I had some K-Facet warm fat quarters, which I was really pleased about. And then, of course, obviously, I run a quilt shop, so there might be some fabric lying around, you know, just in case. Oh, I've run out of paper in the printer. We're really first world problems. My HP Insta Ink expires today, so I'm trying to print out every single solitary page I can possibly print out while I'm still getting it for free, which is silly, I know, but there we go. So I'm just reloading the printer, and I should be back in 30 seconds. If I can figure out where Lady Josephine hid the paper. Ah! She's very sensible, that Lady Josephine. She put it where the paper goes. So I'm just loading the printer with paper. Not exactly what you expected. Apologies. Multitasking. So, what I have done is I have pulled out some fat quarters. Now, I absolutely adore K-Facet. I love his design aesthetic. I love his quilts. I think what he does is really, really, really special. I do, however, and this is me, this is not, you know, I love what he does, but I'm going to show you what I mean when I lay out all these fat quarters. And I'm not right, I'm not wrong, it's just something different. So what I'm doing is, at the moment, I'm just laying out some solids that I just pulled. These were in my remnants basket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so I laid out, there are 25 fat quarters in this bundle. They are divine. I should just hold them here and lift them up. And you can see they are very special. The fabrics are, this one is breathtaking. All of them different, all of them amazing, all of them really, really special. This is the K-Facet warm bundle. There are 25 fat quarters in all. Annoyingly, 17¼ inches, not 17¾ inches, not the 18 inches that was promised. So my initial design size can't be done. Boo, but there we go. So you can see these are divine. I mean, absolutely divine. The fact that cut a little bit smaller is not helpful, but that's fine. All you do is you make a design twist. So what I did is I laid out, so I'm going to be doing the small version of it. So the small version takes 9, and the larger version can take anything up to 25. 25 makes 100, and I'll double check the sizes now, but it's huge. But the 9, I decided to pull the fat quarters out for the 9. And you can see they are really, really pretty. But the one thing I don't like about K-Facet fabrics is when I buy them, and they're a lot of money, they're not cheap, I want to be able to see them. And I love the way that all of his fabrics merge and the colours will go together. So I've chosen this colourway, which I think is really, you get a nice pop of everything. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to merge in some of these solids. So the block we're going to make, hang on, I'm just going to hide the sizes. The block we're going to make looks like that. So this will be one colour, that'll be another colour, that'll be another colour, that'll be another colour, that'll be another colour, and that'll be another colour. So I'm thinking I might add the odd pop of colour. Now, I'm going to, thank you, Kim. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm going to put that there for 2 seconds. And I'm going to try and slide my fat quarters on top of the solids, because then you can just see my logic as to what I'm thinking and whether I'm going to do, whether it'll work or not. It probably won't, but you know what? It's only fabric. You've got to try. Because I don't think that there's a single solid that I've put here. Sorry, I'm trying to... I don't think there's a single solid here that doesn't go with the fabric. Because I think they all kind of pop. So what my plan is, I'm going to cut all of these fat quarters into the required lengths and things. But you'll see what I mean when I do this. So you can see what I mean. I think that the solids go quite well. Like that bright pink over there is screaming at me. But when you look at this underneath there, hello, Fiona. But when you look at that pink matching in with the pink over there, and with the pink over there, and with the pink over there, that pink makes sense. But you can see what I mean. That red pops in over there, it pops in over there. The turquoisey blue, it's not identical to that colour, but it is almost identical to that colour. And the little blue, the sort of bluey colour there matches in. So you can see what my logic is. I love this colour. I love that because that just blends in beautifully. So you can see, you know, maybe the beige doesn't work quite as well on its own, but then you look there and it's got the beige in it. The dark grey, maybe the dark grey doesn't work, but when I quilt it, I've got that dark grey, and when I quilt it in either an orange or this blue, because I think quilting this in orange all the way along would be absolutely gorgeous. So you can see my logic in what I'm doing. Having bought rainbow gardens from you and hoping your pattern will show them off. Oh, I might need to get some solid. Helen, the thing is with this is there's no right or wrong. This is just my personal preference. I like the idea of splitting them up. Whether I actually do end up splitting them up, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the fabric and then I'm going to try it out and position it and try it and see how we go. So my lovely Sylvia has already cut my fabrics. She's already cut the, already ironed my fat quarters. So the great thing with this is if you've got fat quarters or long quarters, that's going to be fine. You'll be able to make this quilt with that, no problem at all. So all I'm doing now is I'm just moving all my fat quarters into one pile. Now I cut very, very regularly, very, very often. So I'm putting one pile of 4 and one pile of 5 together of my fat quarters. And I feel confident cutting 4 and 5 all the way along. And then my solids are very creased. They're in the remnants bin. So we are going to now go and press the solids. Oh my goodness, the printer has finally stopped printing. Yay! So I'm just going to now press my... Hopefully you can... Oops. I'm going to press my solids. You can tell I'm really organised at all this. So we're going to press the solids. I've got some water in my iron, so that'll get some steam. Oh, poop. I'm doing really well here. Sorry, girls and boys. And these are now long quarters, because the great thing about this pattern is you can do long quarters or fat quarters. Both will work absolutely fine. Very laid back day today. It was really nice having Sylvia home. And by home, I mean back in the studio. Joe and I got so much done with Sylvia today. It was lovely. I think Joe left the office today really, really happy to have her buddy back. I think it's always nice when you've got the whole team back together. It was lovely. Now, when I press my long quarters, what I do try and do, if possible, is I line this selvage edge up as best I can, and I try and get these as close to being close together as possible, just to kind of give it that, when I'm trimming everything down and cutting everything, it just makes it that little bit easier if you've got your sides and your selvages lined up. So it just makes it a bit nicer. So this one has been in the remnants bin for quite a while. Quite a stubborn little crease on this. So much so I might need to use my flatter on it in a bit. Nope, that's all gone. So I think I've got 10 solid colours and I've got 9 fat quarters. So you can just do this how you like. The pattern calls for 3x3. But I think actually this would work really well as a 4x3 as well, because this is actually a little bit skinnier than it is long. So you can do it how you want to, really. Pattern will go up on my website tomorrow morning. I just need to finish tweaking a few things. And also I'll have the photographs then to be able to include in the pattern. It's always good when you can have that. And good old Bertha's going to have a good old run for her money tonight. It is funny having a remnant bin. I was going through it today because I've got a big sale on tomorrow night. And I was going through the remnant bin just to check what we had and everything. And I found myself pulling little bits out thinking, oh, I can use that. Oh, I can use that. But I wasn't allowed. They all went back in. But now that I'm looking at the solids, I'm thinking, yes, I got some of it out. And it's always important before you start cutting, press absolutely everything first. It just gives you that little bit of a head start that when you're pressing, like this is a perfect example. Can you see that crease all the way down there? If you cut that into a square and then you press that out, automatically your square that you've cut is no longer square. So it's good to have that nice, easy start to start with to get everything nice and flat before you start doing your cutting. And I thought I would do some of it myself. And having had the wonderful Sylvia press my fat quarters earlier, that was quite nice. I highly recommend, if you do have a Sylvia in your life, get her to do that. It's quite good. If you don't, ask the Lady Josephine. This is a proper scraggy end bit, isn't it? So, but even with this, I'm lining this section up and I'm lining this section up so that I know that's my flat end that I can start cutting to, or cutting from, should I say. Just half the battle's done if you've actually managed to get that all out and done. So even though I have got a scraggy end like that being nice and flat makes it a lot easier. Now this quilt is going to be quite difficult for some people, only because a lot of people don't like random. A lot of people aren't really big random fans. I know a lot of people prefer synergy, making sure that everything goes in the right spot, and that colour's right over there, and that colour's right over there. This is not the quilt for you. Well, it might be. You want to lay everything out, go ahead. That's absolutely fine. For me, I am going to be rogue on this, and I am going to mix everything up, and I'm just going to pull them and place them and stitch them, and that will be me. I know, mental, isn't it? Oh, poop, I dropped my fabric on the floor. Oh. Do you know what I miss about being young? Being able to bend over and stand up without making a noise. Do you remember those days? A lot of you are probably all still young, or do Pilates or yoga, and you're able to do that no problem at all. I am not that person. So now I've just realised I'm going to go and get my stand to make this easier for everybody. Because this worked a lot easier yesterday. Or was it Sunday? Gosh, it was so long ago. So when I do the cutting, if I do this, you'll be able to see better. Oh, pardon me. Forgive me. Oh, really good at all this, aren't I? And while we're talking about it, this is going to be my backing for this quilt. So that was the other reason I pulled some of the fabrics that I pulled, because I wanted to tie the backing in as well. Right, where are we? Perfect. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick... Now, as I said, I'm cutting all of these. I'm going to cut a whole load. I won't be using all of them. It's just to be able to cut them, and then if I see a fabric that I think is too close to another one, I'm going to stick a piece in. And you can do it how you choose, how you like. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to give it a go and go from there. Many of you saw my live feed on Sunday. What I do is I cut a lot of layers of fabric at once because I'm very, very experienced at cutting fabric, running a fabric shop. It's kind of what I do. So please wait. I'm going to do this because I'm not going to cut that and show you how to cut it that way. In fact, I'm going to rotate my fabric to do that. Just going to cut a nice clean edge. Oop. And that's exactly why you don't do it. And this blade needs changing, so that fabric one is gone. Now, when you are cutting and you feel some resistance, change your blade. Your wrist is less expensive than a new blade. And all I'm doing now is I know the cutting measurements that I have to cut. And I'm just, I can show you now. Where are we? So I'm cutting these. Oh, and you saw my ruler move then. I probably do have one too many layers on here, so I don't recommend cutting this many. I thought my blade was cleaner and fresher than it is. So that is going into my little scrap bag over there. While I've got these here, the first thing I'm going to do, as I did the other day, I'm going to line this up and I'm going to cut my selvage edges off. Just that way then I know the selvage edges are gone. Now I'm going to be cutting my first measurements. And you'll see these in the pattern. And the second one. Right, so now I've got a whole load of solids. Now this one I've just seen hasn't gone the full way that it needs to, and it is too small to be able to get two out of. So I'm just going to take my ruler along there and cut to the length it needs to be. And on this one, I'm only going to have one of that color, and this will go into my scrap. Okay, so that's my first section of cuts. Then my second section of cuts is going to be here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to cut only what you feel comfortable cutting. Don't cut more. Don't be silly. And that's my cut. So that's all you're doing. You're doing one giant piece and 2 skinny sets of pieces. Okay? And that's all you're doing. You're cutting all of these into the same size piece. I'm going to do my solids first because my solids are long quarters. So I'll get the long quarters done out the way first. This time I'm only going to do 3. And the same as before, line these up on an edge. Line them up on the bottom here first. I'm going to trim these to my number 5 line over here. That's more than enough gap there. And then I'm doing this one as well. And you remember when I pressed these, I made sure that I've got my edges all straight to one side. You can see I've got that all straight to one side. I'm lining that up there to the 5 line over there and to the base. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that on my 5 line. Perfect. So I know what my width of that needs to be. And I'm going to cut 2 long lengths of that. Move my finger down the ruler as I go. And then same again. Again, cut the selvage top off. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate these to make my life easier. This time around, I'm going to cut the big one first. So I'm lining this up against that line there and that line here. I put my ruler on there to get to the length I need for the big ones. And I trim that off. And then I line this one up as well. If you have got an option, try and come closer to you. Just makes your life that little bit easier. You're not stretching. And I'm trimming this one down as well. And over there, oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, I think I've only got 2 of them. I have. But this is incredibly close. It's literally on the line. So I'm going to cut these open and I'm going to accept them because literally half the line's gone and half's not. So we're just going to accept that as a tiny little bit of seam allowance that I have to manipulate on the other end. So we've got another lot of tins. Now at this point, I'm going to separate these out and I'm going to have my piles over there for the smaller ones. And I'm going to have my pile for the bigger ones. And I'm almost done doing the solids. One more lot of 3 to go. See, the other thing is with this, you could actually do them just in solids. It's not a problem at all. It would work really well, actually. It's just a really nice beginner quilt. Ha 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 ha. Funny that my company's called that. It's just a really nice, simple. There are no seams to match. It's just a really easy, simple quilt to go. Now this one, I think, oh no, it will. Never mind, scrap that. I was a bit worried this one I wouldn't get the full selvage out, but it looks like I will. I'm doing this the other way around this time. I've cut the selvage off first, and then I'm trimming this edge down on the number 5 line. You can obviously do this at any length you like, or any measurement, but it is easier to just start off with a dead edge. Then we're going in and cutting them all to the same width. And we're doing 2 of these. Problem using a slightly darker fabric on the top one, you can't quite check if you've got it. And that's going to be my leftover bits. We've already cut the selvage off. So this time around again, I'm going to start with my big one. Get my big size in first. Got all 3, so we've definitely got all the big ones. And then on the smaller ones, brilliant, I got that done perfectly. So now we've done our long quarters. The fat quarters are very much the same. I'm going to do the first lot of 4 first. Now these are a lot smaller than I thought they would be. You've still got about 1/4 inch to play with, but it's still not quite as accurate as you want it to be, which is a little bit annoying, but there we go. We're going to make it work though. Now, you know I love my K-facet selvages. So what I've done is I've roughly laid these identically on top of one another. So what I'm going to do is I'm finding a line on my board to make it work. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to cut my selvages off on the 5 line, because that works there. You can see there's my 5 line there. I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to cut that bit square there as well. Just checking how these are all cut, because they all seem to be a little bit different. Which is a little bit annoying. Right. So I love my selvages, so I'm going to cut my selvages off first on the number 5 line. So that's my selvage sorted. Then I'm going to go across here and I'm going to cut on that line, just to get rid of the scraggly little bits there. Now the top bit over here, I am going to need to line that up there. Now remember, don't do this in a cack-handed way and hurt yourself. Be cautious. I do this all the time, so I feel comfortable cutting like this. Don't do it if you don't. So, have I got full things of fabric there? Nope, that one's missing there. Annoying. Come down a tiny little bit. There we go. So, I've got all the fabrics cut now. So what I've got now is I've got a straight edge that I've cut, straight edge that I've cut, straight edge that I've cut. So now I'm going to hold these together and just gently rotate to get that on a line over there so that I can start cutting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my first 2 long pieces. So I'm going to get my widths first. So that's my first one. Oh. Here's my second. And then you're going to cut 4 lengths the same width. Four lengths the same width. Rather take your time and double check you got everything correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what you're losing. That's it. That's all your scrap from this design and this pattern. And obviously I've managed to save the gorgeous selvages over here. So you do manage to get the selvages and all the pieces out that you need. These are almost identical in size. So these two have got to be cut the same size. I'm just moving that to one side. And then I'm rotating these around to double check I've got these the right length, because I think I have to shave a little bit off these. So number one. Tiny little bit. So again, that's a little bit more waste that you've got on this. But by comparatively to most of your quilts, that is very, very little. Right, so there are your two long pieces there. And that's of 5 different solids over there. And all I'm doing is 5 different fabrics. I'm just adding them to my long pile over here. And then these two, I'm going to cut these two to the smaller sizes. And fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, perfection. So I've got my little pieces there. Brilliant. Oh, I managed that perfectly. And my little pieces there. So we're almost finished cutting out. We've just got the last 4 fat quarters to lay out. And exactly like we had before, I'm going to line the selvages up. There isn't any really pretty CAFE wording on the base of those, annoyingly. Would have been nice if there was. Just want to make sure that everything is lined up. These two are slightly smaller than the bottom two, so I'm just moving those to the top. It just makes your life that little bit easier if the smaller ones are on the top, and you can double check the sizing that you're cutting to. It's a good tip, if you're cutting loads of layers, put the smallest ones on the top, because then you can see exactly what size you need everything to be, or what size you're cutting to. Okay. Perfect. Right. So we line all that up there. Cut down this last line here, get rid of the selvages. That's the selvage gone. And I'm cutting on this line as well to get that nice and dead. Check that you've got all 4, only because sometimes you don't. And you can see on the bottom there, I haven't cut the last 2, but on the top that I have. So I'm going to just layer that down 1/8 of an inch to make sure I did get it. And that time I got them all. And then I'm going to cut a dead end on the front here as well. Right. So that's that side cut, and that side cut. I'm just gently going to rotate this round, trying not to lift the fabric off the counter. And now I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. Same width all the way along. Going to cut that through. That's our first cut. Our second. I'm going to pull this over because I know I just have to take a tiny... Oh, no, I'm going to carry on doing that. Stop making it complicated, John. So that's for our thin ones, our little ones. And that's for our little ones as well. Right, so I know that these are my little ones. And I know these are my big ones. So I'm just going to put my big ones over here. Take my ruler. Measure out the width they need to be. And again, that's all the scrap you're going to get from that. And put that in your pile. And then again over here. And then the last two cuts you need to make over here. It should, because I think I cut these correctly, like I did the last time, you're just cutting these in half, because I managed to get them exactly the right width when I cut. So there's our first bit. Oh, those are perfect. And that one over there. Perfect. So now I've cut everything out. I'm going to give you an idea of what it is that we're going to be making. First of all, get rid of all the little dusty fluffy bits. So that's going to be one section. Now remember, obviously this will all be different because you'll all choose different fabrics to go anywhere. That'll be your next one. And then you can build this as you go. So you can have all different fabrics all the way along. So what I meant about using K fabric and having a break as you go, so that is gorgeous. I love it. I absolutely love this. Really, really beautiful, beautiful quilt. So there you go. You can see that works really, really well. However, if I pop something like that in, it just gives you that moment where your eyes are having a little bit of a rest over there and you're pulling the fabric out. So if I take that out, you can see the block looks totally different. If I put it there, again, really, really different. And it's just so interesting when you play with these blocks. And like by putting that there, it just changes the whole thing again. If I pull that out and that's there, that changes as well. And maybe I just want to do that. So this is what's so great about having the option of using the solid or using the K fabric on its own. You can go around, you can have 6 blocks like that, and then you can just put a couple of random blocks in the middle with solids. There is no right or wrong. I just think that it's one of those lovely, lovely projects where you can just go and create and make something totally, totally unique and exactly your own. And that is your block. So that's your first block. And you're going to make 9 of those, or 12 of those, or 24 of those, 26 of those, or 24. You can do it however you choose. There is no, you can just play around with it. But that is just simply what your block is going to look like. And I'm now going to go and put a couple of these together and see what we end up with. And I'm determined to make it as scrappy and as non-structured as I possibly can. Never done this before, bear with Paula. And now we're going to go for a little walk. Oh, I'm doing really well on this whole YouTube thing, have you noticed? In case you haven't noticed. Doing really well. I had somebody message me yesterday saying, oh my goodness, I loved your headless YouTube video. Thanks, I think. Thanks. It was very sweet of them. Right, so now I am now in the process of, what am I doing? I need to disconnect that. Then I've got a plug. Got to pick up Bertha and put Bertha on the table. Get rid of all the chocolates. Don't know why that chocolate's there. Not allowed to eat chocolate anymore. Oh! So I'm going to be naughty, not naughty, but I'm going to use the same fabric that the same thread as I used on the quilt I was making the other day, because I think the blue would work really well with all these colours. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, but that's what I've chosen. And to find the cable, oh, that it? Yes. So well organised. I should have had this done before I did my live feed, but there we go. Yay! So now all we do is just randomly select bits like this, the little smaller pieces like this. You just randomly select them. So I quite like the way these two look together. So I'm going to do this as one collection here. The only thing I will say is just double check you haven't got 2 layers on. Ask me how I know. And I quite like that colour. And I quite like that colour. So I know I've got to make 18 of these. What's happening? Oh, it's because you're not happy. Are you, my darling? What have you done? You don't like her on that one. You like her on this one. There you go, sweetheart. Nope, you don't like that at all. What's going on? Is it your bobbin? This is the thing. When you use moon thread, that is from 1 day worth of stitching. So moon thread is fine, but you do end up with an enormous amount of lint. So be careful of that. Right, what's happening with you? Why are you not happy? Where are your cords? What's going on? But why? 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 What are you doing? There we go. You're happy again. Tell you, tension and machines, not my game at the minute. Does anybody else have these problems when they're trying to do a video? Come on. I don't see Jenny Doan having these issues. There we go. Right. So, first things first. Let's undo that, Let's unpick that. That doesn't look great. That one doesn't look good at all. So let's restitch that. Oh, nope, not happy at all. I will give this one more go, and then I am going to switch to another machine. Apologies, boys and girls. Okay, now, where are you here? I'm now going to unthread you from the very beginning, and we're going to rethread the whole lot. Dum, ba, dum, ba, dum, bum, bum, ba, dum, ba, dum, bum. Let me just snip that bit off there. Right, third time the charm. Come on, all of you, cross your fingers, do the little dance. Let's see what happens if we can get this right this time. There we go. Well done, Bertha. Thank you, my darling. Right, so that's 2 of them. And then we're going to do, well, I quite like that one together. 3 of them. And then I think we should mix these up. I'm going to do 4 of them. And 5 of them. Six. 7. 8. I quite like that one with this. 9. And I love these 2 together. That bright orange. And then that's number 10. This is going to be number 11. And then, oh, that'll be quite good. This will be number 12. And I actually think those 2 together would be quite good. So I'm going to do those 2 together. That's 13. I don't know if you can see the little piles here, but you can see I've got my solids here and I've got these here, but I love this. And I think this, because it's got these little maroon dots in it, I think that will be really good together. So I'm going to put that one together. Oh, I quite like, oh, that's already put together. Oh gosh, this one isn't put together. No, it isn't. Oh, I wonder if those 2, actually, I quite like those 2 together. Lost track of how many I've got now. And then, oh, I like that. That's the wrong blue. I thought I had more solids. I do, they're over here. So I wonder if that with that doesn't, oh no, that with that. I like that with that. Ooh, love. So those will be good together. I think I'm going to put, I'm sure I had more of these solids. Of course, I might be imagining it. I wonder, actually, those 2 together go quite well. And you see, there is no rhyme or reason. I just, as you can tell, me being completely and utterly, oh, just put the 2 together. It's hard. I struggle. I do struggle. But there we go. So I've got 3 left, 4 left, and I'm going to use 2 color, do 2 with color. No, I'm going to do them all with color. And then I'm going to put that pink one with that. Oh, that really works. And then these 2, I actually quite like these 2 together. So there we go. I'm doing that. So that is quite a lot of the quilt done already. So with these, I wouldn't press these seams open. It doesn't really matter on this one because there's not huge amounts of seams going together. So I'm going to just leave these and press them to one side and see how it goes. Or just finger press them as I go, which is totally and utterly wrong. I know. It's not how the famous people would do it, not how the clever people would do it. But I am going to double check my count to see how many I have, just so that I know what I'm doing and where. And those two together. I'm going to do a couple of these because I didn't realize I had these. These are the ones I was looking for. So I'm just going to do a couple of these together. And I quite like those two together. Right, so then I can count how many I've got. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So I've got one too many in here. So I am going to pull that one out. Just randomly, I've chosen one that's coming out. So I've got 24 here, which means I need to have 24 of these. Is that right? Hang on. So that's 8. Alexa, what's 8 times 3? It's 24. Never mind, cancel.
8 times 3 is 24.
Perfect. So I need 24 of these as well. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, that's too much pink, I think. 23. I'm going to get rid of that blue one. I think that blue one's the wrong colour. And I'm picking that one because I love it. So I think I've now got 24 and 24. Rightly or wrongly, that's what I think. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a long one and I'm going to put my pile of short ones here. And I'm just going to pull a long and a short. Now, I need my long one to be on the outside, so it doesn't really matter which way you do it. One is on the bottom. And I'm going to sew all 24 of them. And I'm going to do that one and that one. And then I'm going to choose that one and that one. And that one. So you can see it's relatively random. See, for me, I like a nice, simple, easy, quick quilt. And the good thing is here, nothing needs to line up. You don't need to match anything. If your seams don't line up, that's okay. When you put these together, if they don't match up line by line, that's fine. And the great thing with this, especially if someone like me who's a bit of a control freak when it comes to colors and what we're putting together and how things are supposed to look, it's just that it challenges you just to pick, grab, stitch, and just put them all together and see how you go. And there's no right or wrong. You just pick up and the colors are all going to go together because you put them together. And it doesn't mean there's anything right or wrong. It's just, it's going to be fine. But this is definitely one that will challenge. It will challenge people if they're not used to just randomly shoving colors together. Ask me how I know. I'm just going to charge for a moment and pick up a little bit so you've got a bit more of a view. So that, oh goodness, I love this color. So all I'm going to do now is just pick that one. Now you see what I mean? This, it's just there's no break for color. And I'm sorry, I don't like that. I want a break of color. And for me, I need to have my eyes resting on something else when I've got such vibrant colors. And rightly or wrongly, that's my take on it. No doubt there will be people out there who will hate this and think it's a horrible idea. And I'm sorry, that's just the way I wanted to do it. And again, I'm just being consistent. And my longer pieces are all on the bottom. And my two shorter pieces are all on the top. And Bertha is on her way. So that is the same fabric. So I'm not going, oh, poop. Sorry. That's the same fabric. So I'm going to pick that one. Oh, look at those two together. They're going to be lovely. Sure, I feel like I've been sewing all day. It's wonderful though. Now, equally, if you're somebody like me who does struggle just, chopping and pasting and putting it all together like this, that's not your bag. You can lay these all out. You can pick out exactly what it is that you want to be, exactly where you want it, and you can stitch it that way. But for myself, all the cake, they all go together. They always do. It always looks amazing. Many will say I ruined it by putting the solids in. And that's okay. You're not going to be sleeping under the quilt, so it is fine. As I've mentioned before, at this point, check that you still have bobbin. Check you still have your bobbin. And now I have the unfortunate thing that I've got the exact same fabric going together. So what I might do is the one that I pulled out, I'm going to put that one back in. And I'm going to sew the other one together just in case. And I'm going to do this last one together just in case. And now I should have 25 pieces. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's my first half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and my 13th one. So the 13th one I'm going to put to one side. I've got 2 rows of 12 now. And I'm going to have to be brave because what you're going to do now is I'm going to put them both upside down and I'm going to mix them up. Okay, so I'm taking the top one of this one and putting it on the top one of this one. So the way this is going to work is I always have to have the long one, the long side on the outside. So long, short, long, short. So it's long, short, which means that's going to have to go there. These two are the same, so I'm just going to then, that's the same as well. How extraordinary. Couldn't have done that again if we tried. So you'll want long, short, long, short. And I'm going to now sew those together into the blocks that they need to be. The way I've sewn, I'm going to hold this down and I'm going to press this down as it goes through the feed dogs. That way then all my seams are going in the same direction. We're going to do this now and we're going to end up with 12 blocks. So, number 1. And then we have number 2. Short side to long side. And our little seam goes to the floor. Now you can see at this point I've still not used the iron, and that's okay. If you need to or want to press as you go, that is absolutely fine. For me, I don't see a need to because I know my seam at the bottom needs to go to the bottom, so I'm guiding that as I go, and I will press everything once it's finished. The only reason I'm moving that is my fabric is the same when I put it together. So all I'm doing is when I have got the same fabric next to each other, I'm switching for another block. Gosh, that fabric's very popular. It's everywhere. Again, all the way through this process, check your bobbin. And the great thing is I've been seeing a lot more people posting about not feeling confident with their sewing. And I think this is a really great project for people just to let go, stitch. If it doesn't work out, it is the most forgiving pattern because you're not going to notice. And if you're ever so slightly out at the bottom, it doesn't matter. I'll show you a trick if you want. If you are worried about lining your seams up, there's a very, very easy fix for it. So you won't have to worry about that. Sure, we're almost there. I think I've got 3 more to go. So this quilt's going to have 4 blocks across and 3 down. So that's a nice, good size. I can't remember exactly what size that comes out at, but you will see in a few moments. Last block. Hopefully no fabric's the same. Yay. Oh, just ran out of bobbin. So annoying. So annoying. Do I have a bobbin made up? Oh, rats. It's in gold. So you're going to have a gold bottom and a blue top. And I'm okay with that. Where did we end? There we go. Oh. Right, so 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Why are all my maroons on the left? And 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and 1 to the right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave that one there. Oops, I'm going to turn that one this way. And I now put the short edge of this block to the long edge of this block. So I'm going to put 4 of these together. This is the first 2. So I will do this individually. We're now making our rows. I'm going to be putting 4 blocks together. So this is 2. Oops, I was too quick on myself there. Because my thread came flying out my machine. Just came flying out. Come on. Blech. Oh, and I am using a 75 as well, so those little holes are tiny, 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 tiny. And there we go. That'll be that. Check I've got both the threads fabric there. Perfect. So annoyingly, this has slipped a little bit. So forgive me while I just unpick this last few inches. Right, so next one is I have to have that on that side, which means I have to have that on this side. That's 2 solids together, which I'm not loving. So I'm going to move on to the next. That's also 2 solids together. I'm going to take that one. Whoops. Only because I'm doing my best, but I can't do it all. There we go. Right, so that is, have I got 1 there or 2? That's 1. This is 2. So that's my first row. And then my next row is going to be, bum, 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 that's going on that side. And that's going over here. And we've got 2 left to go, so that's going to be on the outside. And that's going to be on there. Oh, that's a nice row, that. And we've got our last row together now. I'm going to leave that on the edge. And oh gosh, that's beautiful. And I'm going to put that one in there. Hang on, what am I doing? So that's there. Yes, that's it there. Sorry, I was getting confused. I got them all upside down then. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to put these 2 together. So I need a long end that isn't the same as that one. That's annoying. So I'm going to put the long end. That will be my outer long end, and that will be my... Oh, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm getting confused. Too many fabrics the same. Right, and that's exactly the same as well. That's so annoying. Right, where are we? There we go. So this is our first row being put together now. Got 3 rows in all. Okay, so we've got the grey on the outside. No, I'm going to put that one on the outside and the grey in the middle. Oh, hang on. Yes, grey in the middle. Oh, I love it. They can't deny, with me waffling on, this is a really quick quilt to make. I think we're at 1 hour and 20 minutes for this live feed, and I've been waffling on for a lot of that. But we are almost put together. Only 2 more seams and we have our quilt top. Now I know I've not pressed it, and if I was doing it on my own, I would still not have pressed it. What I would do is at the very end, when it's all together, before I'm about to put it on my long arm, I would get the gorgeous Lady Josephine to come and put it through the iron and make it nice and flat. So that is our first row. This is our second row, and the top one is our top row. So you've got 2 choices here. Oh, no, you don't. Because the way I've written the pattern is you're going to turn this upside down. So the two short ends over here join onto a long end over here. And now you get to you just get to nest your seams. I'm not going to press only because I want to get this finished and it is late and I'm conscious of everybody being up so late. So I'm just going to finger press this as I go, and as I put it through the machine, I'm going to rotate my seams to nestle them. Normally I would actually have pressed this. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing this, but you know what? I'm going to live dangerously. What could possibly go wrong? Check your bobbin! And it will look a lot neater once you've pressed it. I don't know exactly how long I've been stitching for. I'm not hitting all my seams at this point. I'm okay with that. Just do what feels right for you. If you're not happy, then press and get it right. Do what works for you. Right, that's 2 rows together, and I'm just having a sneak peek. Ooh, I like it. And I'm going to put this one on the top. And I need a long end on that end to my short end. So long end to short end. That's a little too close for me over there with that fabric. So I'm going to turn this round. And I'm going to put the long end over there because the fabric was identical. And that's the short end, long end, yes. Almost there. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this all in line. Oh, you. Why are you being difficult today, my darling? Come on, Bertha. You're having fun. I know you are. You haven't stitched like this in ages. You love it. I know you do. I'll give you a big drop of oil and I'll give you some orifle thread tomorrow when it arrives. Come on. Come on. Right. Just checking which way my seams have to go, and they have to go forwards. I'm just taking my time to make sure my seams are going the right way. I don't want any twisted seams as I come to press everything later. So I know it's taking a little longer. Sorry about that. The great thing about this is now we're doing our last seam in this quilt. You don't have to put a border on this because I don't think you really need to. But it's interesting because it would be quite nice to put a border on if you wanted to. I love a good border on a K-facet quilt on these fabrics because I think the fabric is art. The workmanship on it, it's just art. And being able to create a frame, a physical frame of a border going around it, I always think is very special. So some people love it, some people don't. You get to use another meter of your fabric. So now we are on the last stretch. Last stretch. And I haven't seen the quilt either. I've no idea if this has worked. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go together to see. I'm going to take this with me. I'm going to show you outside. Sorry for the walking. Sorry for the dizziness. So I'm going to put you here so you can see where I lay all the quilts that I lay out. Hopefully that works. And you're going to see it at the same time as I do. Oh my goodness. Oh, that works really well. Hang on, sorry, I'll pull it up so you can see. How gorgeous is that? You can tell the simplicity of it all. Sorry, 2 minutes, there you go. I think the simplicity of it works so well. You can see what I mean by putting these solids in. It just gives a little place for your eye to rest as you go through. I am very excited and very thrilled. So that's 12 different blocks. I think that's 88 minutes for the whole live feed so far. Thank you, Donna. That's so kind. I've missed all the chats, so there we go. Oh my goodness, there's loads. Hello, Anne Davies. Hello, Donna. Hello, Kim Blythe. Hello, Julie. Fiona McKinley. Hello. Hi, oh yes, I saw Helen's comment. Love Cave. Do you ever go home, John? How's the new house? Amanda, the new house is absolutely divine. And I'm on my way home now. Oh, where were we here? Kim, I also have the 1600p. That is right. It's gorgeous. Hello, Sue. I hope you're okay. Oh, exciting, says Donna. Donna Perry also says, I love that. Kim Blythe also said, looks lovely. So that is my new, hello, Amanda. That is my new design, my new pattern. It's going to be £3.50 on the website later today. Gillian Ed is here as well. I'm sorry, I forgot to call you back later. Thank you, Lorraine. Lovely, you make it look so easy. Well, it is. You saw 88 minutes start to finish. And it is really pretty. But you can see what I mean when I put the solids in because, you know, no disrespect. When you look at that, in that section there, it's gorgeous and lovely. But I just think your eye doesn't have anywhere to rest with all of that. So having that little spot of solids in, that works really well. But equally, if like me, you don't like spending lots of money on fabric for quilts, you spread it out a bit more. By adding 4 fat quarters of the solids, you've just ended up getting an extra little bit of fabric there. I think it's great. Lorraine, lovely, you make it look so easy. That's very kind. Baby Isles, lovely. Just got loads of K from Natasha. This will be an ideal quilt. Fabulous. And Davey says fabulous as well. Thanks, John. I'll buy the pattern tomorrow, says Helen. That's very kind. Christine says it looks amazing. You're all far too kind. Thank you so, so much. Right, on that note, I'm going to go and see my husband. It looks so bright and cheery, says Debbie Isles. That's lovely. But you can see what I mean. If you put a border on that, it would just, you know, it just frames it by putting a border. I might use that fabric to put a border on. That's the color of my binding. So you can see what I mean. It's just going to make a difference doing that for the quilt and so easy to do. Really great for a Linus project, for a Linus quilt. And you don't have to turn that block around. You can have the long solids all in a row there. I just thought it worked quite well turning that middle. I might be able to do a 20 block one tomorrow. I'm going to see how my day goes, but it'll be nice to be able to do that. But yeah, the pattern will be up by lunchtime tomorrow, and it's the big sale tomorrow night. So thank you all so much for joining me. Really great to have your company. Have a fabulous evening. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.